No Mzansi, no cry. No Mzansi, no cry. Amazing song from Tupac. Welcome to another episode of The Dissection. Things are heating up in the ad hoc committee on General Mkhwanazi. Things are heating up on the streets. People have gotten bail who are dangerous men. Many men, hey, have gotten this bail. It's a lot. It's a lot. Things are heating up in the committee. And we've heard so far from General Mkhwanazi, we've heard from General Masemola, we've heard from the proponents of the infiltration of the police and of the executive. Now the pendulum is going to shift to the opponents of the political killings task team. And this is going to be the first time under oath that we hear from the other side of the argument, from those who were implicated. And it's going to be interesting to see how different members of parliament choose to engage with the first person who is stepping up to bat for the Mchunu team, General Shadrack Sibiya. Of course, we've been hearing in various interviews, Serge Kabong, Brown Mokhotsi, now Nkabinde, all of them doing press conferences, interviews. Now it's game time. Now they have to go to parliament. And coincidentally, the Madlanga Commission is resuming on the 13th, Monday, the 13th of October. However, they are going to be hearing evidence in camera, meaning that the public is not going to be privy to that sensitive and detailed information being presented there. General Khumalo is still not available. Don't know whether he's checking phones. Remember, Sibiya's phones were taken recently. If General Khumalo is healthy, he could be checking those phones. And then if he's not healthy, still that raises a lot of concerns because as we know, things that have been happening in this process have been spectacular. We've got a police general who was reading evidence of infiltration, fall sick, cannot continue. We've got a former police minister who falls from a building in Paris. And that also is something bizarre in and of itself when taken into the context of everything that is happening now. So, Sibiya is coming up. He's going to testify on Monday, the 13th of October. And I thought the most valuable thing right now and the most useful thing for you would be to outline the full case against him as presented by General Fani Masemola and General Mkhwanazi, and to point out at the end the questions that I think he will have to answer, or questions that I think should be asked if the committee is seeking to get to the bottom of this saga. In between all of the interruptions, the side quests of the various members of parliament, it's easy to lose track of the bigger picture. It's easy to lose track of the golden thread that is being presented by one side or the other. So I thought, let me, without interruptions from Julius, Kusela, and all of these other honorable members, give you the full 911 gist of everything that has been discussed. It's been interesting, though, watching the members of parliament cross-examine General Mkhwanazi and General Masemola. You would get different vibes. You would see some of them behaving in different ways, and there were some personal interests that were also identifiable, conflicts of interest identifiable, and also there were clear instances of irony or hypocrisy when individuals whose relatives were implicated in PPE corruption in Gauteng Department of Health were then trying to be pushy or testy with General Mkhwanazi or General Masemola to be like, well, but don't you know that we know that your husband, who passed away, may he rest in peace, was implicated in hundreds of millions of monies going missing, which was supposed to buy masks, etc., etc. People think that we have the memory of what's the fish that the fish that they put in the bowl. They think we have that memory of that golden fish. So we actually remember all the details, and it was interesting to observe those dynamics. So if you think, for instance, the Democratic Alliance at times was surprisingly playing offense in a way that seemed like they were helping Sibiya and Senzo Mchunu, and at times it came across as though they were hostile to the generals. And this was surprising because they're the ones usually pushing against corruption, but because their member was implicated in, mishandling top secret information, that could have influenced them taking a different tone. If you think about the DA chairperson of the Committee on Policing, Ian Cameron, for example, he got into a shouting match with Peggy Cele. One would assume that he would be eager to get accountability for somebody who has spoken adversely, who he has spoken adversely against, and who has spoken adversely against him. We didn't necessarily see that. At times, the MK party only wanted to kwaza one topic. They wanted to kwaza Palapala and only get to the bottom of Palapala. So sometimes they were asking questions which were not necessarily helping us get to the bottom of the issue of the disbanding of the political killings task team, the infiltration, Senzo Mchunu, etc. They were asking questions about Wally Rude. They were asking questions about the failure to open the case, the classification of the investigations, the Patriotic Alliance themselves, Ons Bisony wanted to go a different direction. They wanted to make the circle smaller, make the circle smaller. Don't talk about Kunene. Because we saw, Souls trying to push back without any evidence that he was giving that Kenny Kunene wasn't at the house of Katiso, the killer Molefe, multiple times. And, that's something that we just have to think about. Alleged killer, Mr. Molefe, alleged until, you have your day in court in full. We can't stop speaking. We can't be intimidated into silence. That's my view on all of this. So we'll keep having dissections about Hosh Kari behavior. Save these videos. So we know that there have been a lot of allegations around General Sibiya specifically. There's a considerable amount that has been said about him that goes back to, the Zimbabwe rendition case. We've heard about the gratification allegations for him taking money when he was in the city of Johannesburg and the complaints that were raised prior to his appointment. In this video, I'm going to focus on the current allegations surrounding him as articulated by the generals Masemola and Mchunu. I'm not going to look at the Zimbabwe rendition case or the city of Johannesburg, but I'm going to look at these elements that have been presented so far. So according to General Mchunu, on the 16th of April 2024, the political killings term of operation was extended for one more year and a budget was approved. And the people who approved that and retained General Khumalo as the team project leader for the financial year 2024-2025 were General Sibiya, who recommended it, and the approval came from the National Commissioner. So that's first thing we need to keep in mind. Second thing, the instruction to dissolve the political killings task team was signed on the 31st of December by Minister Senzo Mchunu. The National Commissioner started his leave around about that time. General Khumalo then showed text messages to the Madlanga Commission from Brown Mkhotsi to Vusi Matlala on the 1st of January 2025. The text message read as follows: "Good day. I have arranged for a meeting between Sibiya and the minister. Must have a solution." And then later on the 1st of January, Mr. Mkhotsi sent another WhatsApp message to Mr. Vusi Matlala indicating the task team that came to your house and harassed you has been dissolved. Then the next day, Mr. Matlala responded as follows: "Oh, I see you tried to call me last night. When is this happening?" Mr. Mkhotsi responded stating that they got the letter on Monday. As we speak, they are bringing all the dockets to Sibiya. So Sibiya is implicated in this conversation. Now, General Masemola says he came back from leave on the 14th of January 2025. And then he says General Sibiya came first day that he's back at the office to discuss the implementation of the minister's directive. He presented a proposal to immediately disband the same team that he loved and recommended on the 16th of April 2024. What changed, right? Why are you so enthusiastic? Why are you going to this man's office day one of him being back from leave? You don't even let this guy look at his files. You don't let him check emails. You just go straight, direct, disband the team immediately. Mchunu told me. All right. So Masemola says he was not satisfied with the proposed plan and informed General Sibiya that it would be irresponsible to disband summarily the political killings task team and remove the case dockets from them, as it would have a detrimental effect on the investigation of the cases. Then he says it would cause problems in relation to the prosecutions of matters already in court and would detrimentally affect witnesses in witness protection and the families that were affected by the killings. So he advised General Sibiya to consult with General Rabi, who's responsible for strategic management, to assist in formulating a plan that would assist in putting into effect a winding down. So his instruction was, let's wind down, no immediate, disbandment. Then the next day, Sibiya goes to sleep, wakes up, says, "Nah, fam, I'm going to talk to this guy again." So Sibiya visited Masemola's office again and found General Semula with General Masemola with General Sibula. He then briefed Masemola on a revised plan that he had prepared for the task team, asked him to sign it. The revised plan still emphasized immediate disbandment. So this man went back to that yellow walled house with the great gate and typed, no, let me remove this, let me remove that, but kept immediate disbandment. Kept that. Masemola said, I ain't signing nothing. He declined to sign and told him that if the team would be ultimately disbanded, it would not happen suddenly, but rather through a gradual winding down and not an immediate type of a process. And due to the differing opinions on how to proceed, Masemola asked him to leave the matter altogether. Leave it altogether. And he said that he, Masemola, would manage it and develop a report or plan that he would give to the minister. Then, on the 16th of January, right, the very next day, they held a meeting with the minister and Lieutenant General Khumalo. This is now Masemola having a meeting with the minister, and this is significant, during which they provided the minister with a comprehensive update, as well as an overview of ongoing counterintelligence investigations. Masemola reminded the minister that a briefing on the PKTT should still be had because they didn't have one at that point. So the briefing that they had on the 16th identified a syndicate with significant influence and or connections with the political, law enforcement and criminal justice systems. The report listed the identities of senior SAPS officers associated with criminal activity, including that of General Sibiya. So the details of this briefing apparently were not disclosed to Parliament given the crime intelligence implications. They were just showing the minister that they have this. They gave him a hard copy of the briefing note, and after the briefing, they said, give us that paperwork back. So the minister would have seen the names of implicated persons, which included, according to Masemola, General Sibiya, Katiso Mulefe, and Vusi Muzi Kat Matlala Wetsamanyala, right? That homie. So on the 2nd of February, the National Commissioner said that he spoke to the president, I think first or second, about the issue of disbanding the task team. This is important because the president will then have to come and explain his version of the story at some point. They cannot say that he can't come. There's an issue of facts there that he needs to deal with. On the 6th of March, Masemola attended a meeting with the minister, the Deputy National Commissioners of Policing and Crime Detection, General Mosikili, General Sibiya, General Khumalo, Nkabinde, General Sentumule. At this meeting, Khumalo presented a plan on the PKTT. After he presented his plan, Mosikili and Masemola were in favor of the plan, but the people who opposed the plan were General Sibiya, Nkabinde. They were opposed to it. And they were in favor and pushing for the immediate disbandment. So I think Kabinde was articulating the views of the minister in that particular meeting. In this meeting, General Masemola asked the minister for his reasons. Tell me why you want to disband PKT. Tell me why. I'm going to record an album with Soul Penduga soon. It's coming. Watch this space. Then the minister replied that political killings happened before 1994, not afterwards. And he reiterated his view that a politically related murder is like any other murder. Then General Khumalo's presentation apparently was partly accepted. What the minister supported, supported by General Sibiya and the Chief of Staff, was firm, though, on that the dockets must return to their original stations and not be sent to another unit or structure in KZN. Masemola emphasized that the phased-out approach or the gradual winding down of the task team should be completed by 2025. However, in the meeting, it was agreed that the generals Khumalo and Sentimule should review and amend the plan in line with the decisions made during the meeting and prepared for approval by the minister. It was decided that another meeting would take place on the 27th of March to finalize the plan. Until then, no further steps were to be taken or were taken. Masemola says that he learned about the removal of the 121 dockets around about April or early May, which were under investigation relating to the task team, and they were handed over to General Sentimule under the instruction of Sibiya, which was not what they had discussed. So no briefing or report was made to him by General Sibiya on the status of the dockets. Masemola said he doesn't know where the dockets of the task team were stored after they were transferred to the head office. Masemola was at some stage verbally informed by General Sentimule that General Mkhwanazi refused to take back the dockets. However, General Mkhwanazi did not discuss the matter with Masemola, nor did he explain the reasons behind that position. On the 8th of July, Following the explosive 6th of July Mkhwanazi press conference, General Sibiya then came and sought to approve a request for funding for investigations into those dockets that were taken to the head office by members attached to serious and violent crime investigations. So now, after that interview with Criselda and all of that played out, it looks like Sibiya was like, nah, let me actually get some funding to then say I'm doing these investigations. On the 22nd of July, 2025, Masemola rejected the request for funding related to the investigation of the 121 political killings dockets proposed by General Mutsipe and recommended by General Sibiya. He said that this was essentially a proposal for the 121 dockets to be investigated and concluded by the Serious and Violent Crime Investigation, Murder and Robbery Division, I think it's what it would be called. And as noted, Masemola in the document where he refused, he said he refused to approve the funding because it duplicated the task team's mandate, which was already operational even though it was being wound down. So Masemola then questioned why the dockets were at headquarters when it had been agreed that some dockets from the task team should be returned to their station of origin. Masemola actually said that there was some, back and forth between Mkhwanazi was saying he didn't want to take possession of the dockets. Sibiya was not being clear. And then when General Sentimule called to inform Masemola of General Mkhwanazi's refusal to accept the dockets, Masemola then advised Sentimule that she must tell Sibiya to return the dockets in the same manner as he received them. This thing is like African parents. African parents will ask you when you're up a tree and you can't come down. And you're like, I can't come down. And they say, how did you get up there? Come down the way you got up there. So I think this is part of what was causing all of this. Mkhwanazi said he doesn't want to take the dockets. There was almost a African discussion about the dockets because uwathole kanjani lama dockets? How did you get the dockets? Return the dockets the way that you got them. That's my understanding about that particular exchange. So one of the things that was also challenged by Masemola is that General Sibiya was the acting national commissioner on the 31st of December 2024 when the minister issued the directive. He says that General Musikili was actually the national commissioner, acting national commissioner, whilst Masemola was on leave from the 30th of December until the 13th of January 2025. I think that's a relevant question there because it looks as if there's going to be an argument that Sibiya was the acting national commissioner, therefore he could be the one who moves fast on all of those things. Then there was also a discussion around how around about the 17th of January, after being told that no, Masemola would be the one who handles the issue of the disbandment, on that day, Sibiya sent a letter to Khumalo to implement or try to implement the directive. And what Masemola said was that General Sibiya was aware that as the national commissioner, only Masemola had the authority to sign the letter that he wanted him to sign. And despite that, he proceeded to issue the same letter under his own name, Sibiya's letter. He wrote a letter on the 17th of January, which sought to ensure the immediate compliance with the directive. So General Sibiya's instruction was that members of the team must be reassigned to other units within the South African Police Service in consultation with the Divisional Commissioner, General Sentimule, and other relevant divisional and provincial commissioners. This would mean basically that, in his view, members with valuable institutional knowledge of the cases, members who had formed strategic relationships with stakeholders, including informants and witnesses, would be removed from the cases and new personnel assigned to them. And he thought that the process was going to be disruptive and compromise investigations which are ongoing. It was going to be deleterious to those investigations. And he said that, members of the task team who belong to original units can not be reassigned. Once they've completed their responsibilities in the task team, they should return to their original units and stations. So that was what Masemola was concerned about. Now, General Sibiya's instruction stipulated that all case dockets had to be hand-delivered to a location designated by General Sentimule, who was to establish a secure repository for case files and evidence, ostensibly to ensure continuity and prevent any loss or tampering. The dockets would then be reallocated as previously stated. In effect, General Sibiya's instruction was going to abandon an effective model in the view of Masemola and revert to a model that had been unsuccessful prior. So what Sibiya was trying to do is something that they viewed as being redundant and retrogressive, in fact. Now, that's the long and short of the allegations against Sibiya. The questions, the 21 questions that I think they need to ask General Shadrack Sibiya. And number 21 is the most important. We're going to get there. So, remember 21 questions. Girl, you seem to love me now. Hey, Sibiya, you seem innocent now. But let's get these questions to you. Number 1, why did he approve of the task team in April 2024 and disapprove of it in January of 2025? What changed his thinking? Number 2, did he have a meeting in Cape Town with Vusi the Cat Matlala Wetsamanyala and Minister Senzo Mchunu? Number 3, was he the acting police commissioner on the 31st of December 2024? Number 4, why does he think the Scorpions disbandment is the right model? Number 5, why did he want his hands so desperately on those dockets? Number 6, what is his relationship with Katiso Molefe, Brown Mohotsi, Vusi Matlala? Number 7, is he a part of the Big Five cartel? Is he part of Hosh Kari Behaviour? Number 8, why was he trying to call General Mkhonazi about the AKA murder? Number 9, what role did he play in the AKA murder investigation? Number 10, what role did he play in the Senzo Meyiwa murder investigation? Number 11, what is his relationship with Brown Mkhotsi? I think I mentioned that one already. But it's a standalone here. What is his relationship with people in the criminal underworld? I think we expanded like that. Number 12, why did he disobey direct instructions from the National Commissioner? Number 13, why does he think his life is in danger? Who poses a risk to his life? Number 14, what is his relationship with Minister Senzo Mchunu? Number 15, what is his relationship with General Mkhonazi? Number 16, if the political task team is not relevant or necessary, why did he want to send a team from Gauteng to KwaZulu-Natal to effectively do the same job as the political killings task team? Number 17, what does he know about the kidnapping of Jerry Bushoka? Number 18, what is his relationship with Serge Kabonge? Number 19, what is his relationship with Malcolm X Chakalaka Edition, the super consultant? Number 20, were the men guarding his residence the same men who effected the arrest of Advocate Tefo? What is his relationship with those men? Why are they always with you? Why are those men always with you, sir? And number 21, as the journalist asked you that one day, are you a criminal? That's what I think they need to ask this gentleman when they're in the committee. It'll be interesting to see how it goes down. But that's today's episode. Let's meet in the comment section. What do you think about Sibiya going to bat tomorrow? Or if you watch it on Monday, today. What do you think about that? Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting hot in the It's getting hot in here. Hey, people are getting bail. People are out in the streets. The whole thing is heating up. Tupac wasn't lying. Mzansi is a drama, a series, a movie. And every week you never know. You never know